Hi, this is Alexandra at Beadaholique, here to show you how to make a wire-wrapped connector with bail-making pliers. So in this video, we'll be making a variation on this very design here using some wire by the beadsmith, and I want to show you these neat colors that it comes in. We've got all the gauges in these four colors of vintage brass, antiqued copper, we've got the hematite, and also the rose gold. So for other supplies, I'll be using some 2mm oval cable chain, some 6mm Swarovski pearls, I have some 4mm jump rings, and a lobster clasp. And for tools, I've got cutters, I've got the bail making pliers, I've got nylon jaw pliers, round, and chain nose pliers. So let's get started. I'm going to bring in the two colors of wire that we'll be using. I'm going to try a different combination today of rose gold with hematite. Let me bring in my ruler, and for the first step I'm going to cut 1 foot of the 18 gauge rose gold tone wire. Now I'm going to use the nylon jaw pliers to straighten that out a bit, just by gripping and sliding. This is also work hardening the wire a little bit, helping it to keep its shape once we get it wrapped. All right. Now I'll bring in my round nose pliers to start, and what I want to do is create a simple wire loop on one end. So I'm going to angle the wire at 90 degrees, pull my plier up and over with the round side at the top, and curve the wire around and clip it. I'll tuck that end in, and this is our starting place. So I'm ready to bring in the bail making pliers. Now this has two different sizes. One is a 9mm and one's a 7mm. And so with the 9mm toward me on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and rotate my wire around it. Come in toward the center, and then come the other direction in a figure 8 configuration over the top of that 7mm size. So once I take my pliers out, you'll see we have our first shape. I'm going to reposition my plier right next to it and do the same thing, coming around counterclockwise, up over the top clockwise. And what this is doing is stacking the wire in the same facing direction as the previous coil. All right, so repositioning. I'll do a total of 4 of these. And this is just one of many, many options you have for designs to create with these pliers. I had a lot of fun playing with different shapes. All right, bring my plier out and see where we're at. We've got 3. Let's do our 4th. Make sure I get that shape right. Up and over the top, and you'll see that 1 foot gave me just enough to fit around. So you may want to leave yourself an extra inch or 2 of wire. This is craft wire, and so it's good to practice with because it's fairly economical. Just want to adjust that shape a little bit. I'm going to grip with my chain plier and kind of tuck that wire to get a nice circle. All right, so now I'm going to bring my round nose pliers back in and repeat what we did at first, and I want to make sure my loops are headed in the same direction. So I'm going to flip this around and create my 90-degree angle by gripping just off of my loops, reinserting my plier and coming around. Now I have just such a little tail, and this is stiff wire. I'm going to grip with my chain nose plier and get that tucked nice and firm to get a good loop. Clip that and give it a nice tuck. There we are. Okay, So there's our form. And now what we're going to do is wire wrap these pearls on using some 26 gauge hematite wire. So I'm going to bring that in and cut myself about 16 inches of this. My ruler is 15 inches long, so let me add one more inch to that. And this may give me a little more than I need, but that's probably good. All right, so taking the tail of my wire, I'm coming through the side loop here, and I'm going to start to stack my coils using the tail of wire just by coming through and around. And starting out is the trick to get it nice and tight. So you need to do a little bit of tucking and pushing. You can even use pliers to get a grip on that wire and get a nice tight coil. Once you get it started, it's easier to stack those coils against each other around the 18 gauge wire. I'll get my fingers out of the way here in just a minute once I have it started a little more. You can see how that's going on. Coming through and continuing to coil. And I find that about 12 coils fills a nice amount of space in these loops. And because it's a contrasting color, I want to get an even amount of wire onto each of my rose gold loops to have it look nice and symmetrical. Continuing through, getting a good start. And again, I'm going to bring in my plier and give that a little tug. I'm going to be gentle with these colored wires with your pliers because they can scratch the surface a little bit and take off some of the color. So you just want to be real gentle. And if you have the opportunity to use the nylon jaw pliers to get a grip, that's always a good thing too because they won't scratch the color off. So let me give a quick count to my coils here. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to do about 2 more, starting to use my longer end of wire, and this will be what I will continue with along the remainder of the other loops as I travel left to right. And it's just a process of weaving the wire on. I really enjoy wire wrapping. I find it very satisfying. All right, so just want to get this one center coil tucked down if I can. Try to even that out a little bit. All right, so now I'm ready to add on my first pearl. So I'm going to take the end of my wire and string it on and tuck that up in between the 2 loops of my rose gold wire. And I'm going to bring my wire through the back of that next loop and start the process again of creating 12 coils, making sure that my pearl is nice and tucked up in there. Don't want more wire showing than I need. Stacking my coils, just one against the other. So I'm going to continue this process and create 12 coils on this round, bring in another pearl, 12 coils, and another pearl, and I'll meet up with you when I'm finishing up the last bit of wire wrapping. Okay, so I'm creating my last wrap of wire, and then I'll be ready to clip. Bring in my flush cutters, and here's where I'm going to take my nylon jaw plier. Just give that a squeeze down, get that tail tucked in. Now we're ready to make this into a pendant. So let me bring in my cable chain here, and what I have is 15 inches of chain, and I'll want to cut that right down the middle to get 2 even lengths. I'm just going to hold that up and grip the center link with my cutters to make sure I get the right link here. There we go. I'm going to cut that and split the chain. It doesn't want to let go. Where did it go? There we are. Okay. Now I'll bring in my 4mm jump ring, and I'm going to attach the end link of one of my chains. Slide that on. And I've got gunmetal for all of the findings to really accent that hematite wire. I'll bring in my other plier and close up this jump ring. And do the same thing on the other side. And I pre-opened these jump rings just to get them ready. Now the bail making pliers do come in different sizes, so there's really lots of options for sizes and configurations of these loops. I hope you're inspired to try your hand at lots of different designs. All right, so now all we have to do is put our clasp on. Bring in my lobster clasp and my last 2 jump rings. And it's the same process. Just going to slide on that end link, take on the loop of my clasp, close it up, and on the other side as well. There we are. I'll latch that. And we'll take a look at the finished necklace here. We have the Rambling Rose necklace. So I hope you enjoyed this video. All of these tools, supplies, and beads are available at beadaholique.com. And please also click the bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.